Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from beautiful San Antonio, Texas. The second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I hope you guys are excited for this lovely day today. It's another wonderful, beautiful day. To Groundhog Day this thing, and by that I mean to get it right where you had not got it right before. I would like to discuss the subject of relational maturity. Relational maturity. All relationships experience a certain level of maturity or immaturity at any given time, and the good news is that if we are unhappy with the way things are going in relationships, there are tools and there are resources available to us to bring some improvement to those relationships. Now, your ability to have mature and professional relationships will mark you as one who can work well with others, lead, follow, and be a contributing member to an organization or something that is bigger than yourself. Your ability to contribute to something bigger than yourself comes from having the emotional, social, relational maturity to recognize a couple of things. And it's this. Buttercup, we all get offended. Everybody gets offended. Everybody has an opportunity to be offended. Some people have more thin skin than others. Some people are more easily triggered than others. And yet I have noticed that unless a person is dead, they are available to be offended at any given time or place. Now, the issue is not that you can become 100% unoffendable. The challenge is to shorten the gap of time between being offended and being reconciled, or being offended and fixing it. And how do I mean fixing it? I don't mean that you guys now hold hands and sing Kumbaya and go have a coffee at Starbucks. What I'm talking about is having the capacity for you to be able to shake it off, knock that dust off your shoulder, let go of the offense, let go of the pride, let go of the arrogance, let go of the sad story you tell yourself, so that you can move forward with clarity of heart and clarity of mind. The ability for you to recover quickly from an offense is the key. Again, the only people I know who don't have a chance to get offended are people who have died. No worries there, they will never be offended again. And yet those of us who find ourselves in relationship with others can find that offenses can mess you up. So let's go back to a metaphor or a picture that I like to share with you to give you the sense of control you have in those situations and guarding your emotions. And it is the image of a thermostat versus a thermometer. So if you picture a house with a thermostat, there is a thermometer. The thermometer's job is to passively give feedback as to what is going on around it. The thermometer reacts to what is going on around it. It's hot, it goes up. It's cold, it goes down. It's hot, it goes up. It's cold, it goes down. The thermometer reacts. It is passive. The thermostat, on the other hand, does not react. The thermostat sets the tone. The thermostat doesn't let what's going on outside affect it. It affects what's going on outside of it. The thermostat sets the tone for how things will happen. So, maturity, emotional, relational, I even say spiritual maturity, is your ability to recover quickly after an offense. Ideally, there's reconciliation with another person that has been initiated by the person with the humility, number one, to be willing to initiate, and number two, the emotional maturity to be able to value reconciliation over being right. If you always have to be right, your pride and your arrogance will prohibit you from any type of growth that you will have with other people who may be opposed to the way you think or feel, number one. Or number two, it will prohibit you from being able to grow as a person individually, because you will be subject to the thermometer lifestyle of constantly reacting to what's going on around you, being affected by what's going on around you, and showing up in a negative way, because carrying an offense, carrying a judgment, carrying an unforgiveness, that is toxic stuff that affects you and everybody around you. So when being reconciled is more important to you than being right, you have just tapped into a level of maturity that comes from recognizing that you have decided to be a thermostat. I am not going to let what's going on around me change the way I show up in life for myself, my family, and other people. Now, if it's happening within your family, that's a whole nother story, because you have the ability in that situation to fight for reconciliation, to be a peacemaker, if you will. Now, when it comes to being a peacemaker, I want to share something with you. Someone has to be the bigger person. Someone has to be the mature person. Someone has to be the person who has more humility to initiate the peacemaking. You are not a peacemaker unless you are the initiator. If you are not the initiator, you are not the peacemaker. You are just a person who goes, okay, well, I guess that's fine. That's fine. No, that's not the peacemaker. The peacemaker says, there's clearly a division here. Let me fall on the sword. I accept full responsibility for the situation that we're in. It's my fault. I'll take the blame for it. It's much more important to me that we be reconciled than we be divided. If being right is important to you, you take that. You be right, I'll be wrong. Ideally, we would like to both be right, and yet if it's got to be one way, then you get to be right, I'll be wrong, because being reconciled to me is more important than being right. Have you guys seen this picture? It's a beautiful picture. Imagine a bedroom, and there's no furniture in the bedroom, and one person is standing up against one wall, facing the other person standing up against the other wall. And on the floor, there is a giant number 6 for this person standing on this side. Well, on the other side, it looks like a number 9. And they're going, it's a 6! No, it's a 9! No, it's a 6! No, it's a 9! Guess what, suckers? Y'all are both right. You're both right. On this side of the room, it's a 6. On that side of the room, it's a 9. You're both right. And if being right is more important to you than being reconciled, you will fight all daggum day about it and never give in. What is my point? My point is this. When being reconciled is more important to you than being right, well, my friend, you've stepped into a level of maturity that enables you to have greater influence and impact, because you're willing to be humble in order to be reconciled, which then creates for you the role of being a peacemaker, because the peacemaker is the initiator of the peacemaking. So what are you going to be today, ladies and gentlemen? You're going to be the thermometer that reacts and responds to everything going around it, or are you going to be the thermostat and set the tone? You get to decide. I hope you choose wisely.